والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده وبعد. رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم صلوا عليه has 5 qualities when it comes to women, to wives, to marriage that we here men don't have. And those 5 qualities that Allah gave to him and him only is all mentioned in Surah Ahzab. The first quality, that Rasulullah is the one and only who's allowed to marry more than 4. That's the first one. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّا أَحْلَلْنَا لَكَ أَزْوَاجَكَ. The second one, he is the one and only who's allowed to marry a woman without a dowry. Everyone he has to give his wife a hadiyah, a mahr, a dowry, except Rasulullah. It's not allowed to take. A lady came to him and said, Ya Rasulullah, I'm giving you myself. وَامْرَأَةً مُؤْمِنَةً إِنْ وَهَبَتْ نَفْسَهَا لِلنَّبِيِّ إِنْ أَرَادَ النَّبِيُّ أَنْ يَسْتَنكِحَهَا. And that became his wife, Maymunah bint al-Harith, radiyallahu anha. The third one, Allah revealed to him that he is not allowed to marry anyone or divorce any of his wives. لا يحل لك النساء من بعد ولا أن تبدل بهن من أزواج. So at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he had 9 wives. In his whole life he had 11. But he died with 9 with him. So he was not allowed to marry or to divorce after that. And the fourth one, that his wives after death are not allowed to marry any man after his death. وَمَا كَانَ لَكُمْ أَن تُؤْذُوا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ وَلَا أَن تَنكِحُوا أَزْوَاجَهُ مِن بَعْدِهِ. And the last one that I would like to highlight here, which Surah Al-Ahzab is coming to highlight the most. The last one, that Rasulullah is not obligated to hold justice upon his wives. If you are thinking about marrying a second and third, keep in mind the whole justice. Because Allah will bring you with a tilting shoulder to expose you in front of believers if you do unjust between your wives. But to Rasulullah, he told him, تُرْجِي مَنْ تَشَاءُ مِنْهُنْ وَتُؤْوِي مَنْ تَشَاءُ وَمَنْ ابْتَغَيْتَ مِمَّنْ عَزَلْتَ. There is a little ikhtilaf here. But when we dive into the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we would find that Aisha got the flesh of his life. The stories that we have about Aisha, the narrations that we have, the incidents that we have about Aisha, the love that he has about Aisha. At the masjid he said the most beloved person to me is Aisha. Ya Rasulullah, what about the rest of the 8? At least don't say it publicly. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't put that obligation on him. This is why all of the wives came one day to Sauda bint Zam'a. Sauda, Rasulullah respected her so much. She is the oldest. And she is the first one that he married after Khadija radiallahu anha. She got a unique corner in his heart. So they all came to her and said, Ya Sauda, لقد أخذت منا عائشة كل رسول الله. Aisha was taking Rasulullah from us. Go and complain to him. Sauda comes to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and said, Ya Rasulullah, إن زوجاتك قد أرسلنني لأخبرك أنك تحب عائشة أكثر منا. فقل لأصحابك, even the companions of Rasulullah, the Sahaba used to know this. And when they bring the gifts of Rasulullah, they bring it at the day of Aisha. When he is sleeping at Aisha's house, they bring him the gifts. She should take the most of it. وقل لأصحابك أن يوزعوا هداياهم بيننا. Tell your Sahaba to distribute the gifts among us, and you give us equal times. He didn't respond. And he told Sauda, قولي لهم إنها التي نزل جبريل علي وأنا في لحافها. Go and tell them that she is the one that Jibreel came to me and I'm next to her on the bed. We will come to that story inshallah in a minute. Sauda goes, did she give up? Absolutely not. She goes to Fatima radiallahu anha. She says, Ya Fatima, tell Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to equalize among his wives. Fatima radiallahu anha goes to Rasulullah and says, Ya Rasulullah, Sauda just spoke to me and بأحبك يا I love you, by whom my soul is on, I love you. أتحبين ما أحب? Do you love whom I love? فقالت yes, of course. فقال والله إني لا أحبها. والله I love her. Now Aisha knows that very well. One day she says, جاءني رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فنام على وسادته حتى ظن أني نمت. One day, Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم slept and it was my night. He put his head on the pillow until he thought that I'm sleeping, that I already fell asleep. فقام رويدا رويدا. Look at Aisha. She's observing with the corner of her eyes. And Rasulullah is slowly and quietly, he's waking up on his toes. He's not making any noise. And he wakes up. فوضع رداءه رويدا رويدا. He put his clothes, his toe, his qamis, easily and slowly. And he opened the door and he left. Aisha says, فوضعت رداءي خلفه وتتبعته ومشيت حتى وصل البقيع. I put my abaya, I put my khimar on, and I started following him slowly that he doesn't expose me until he reached al-Baqiyah. And he stood there for a long time and he raised his hand with dua and then he turned around. I was keeping a distance, so I started going back. فأسرع فأسرعت. He started going fast and I fasted as well. فهرول Rasulullah started jogging and I started jogging. She goes back to her house, she takes off the abaya and she goes under the blankets. Now someone is just running. Of course you will hear the heavy breathing coming out. She's pretending to be sleeping. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, Ya Aisha. She didn't respond. Ya Aisha, ما لي أراكِ حشية رابية. Why are you talking? Why do you have the heavy breath on you? Wake up! فقالت يا رسول الله ليس بشيء. Don't worry, I was just asleep. فقال لتخبرنني أو ليخبرنني اللطيف الخبير. Are you going to tell me or Allah will tell me? Game over. Exposed. She told him the whole story. فقال يا عائشة أتخافين أن يحيف عليك الله ورسوله? Are you afraid that Allah and His Messenger would ever treat you unjustly? And Aisha, the situation has come to an end. Now let's bring that to today's time and age. What Aisha did in today's language is basically what your wife might be doing when she takes your phone. She was just tracking Rasulullah. She takes off your phone and she starts scrolling in your messages, in your pictures, Allah, in your message, and all the chats with your co-workers. I'm not justifying for the sisters now to take the husband's phone and start scrolling today and say, Aisha did it, why don't I do it? Probably the brothers today, I recommend you all delete your messages and your pictures today. Delete everything. But look at the way that Rasulullah responded with all their love and understanding that this is a jealous woman. That what she was thinking, that he's going to another wife. He's going to another house. Now, where I'm going with this, all of that is mentioned in Surah Ahzab. Brothers, Al-Ahzab is a battle. Al-Ahzab is two armies fighting. Why would Allah bring all of these stories and orders from the house of Rasulullah in Surah Ahzab? To tell you one thing, that the true faith, true believers come out not in the battlefield, but inside their houses. And you will come to understand that the battle of Ahzab was not a battle of sword and blood. No, there was no shedding blood at all. Zero killers or martyrs in the battle of Ahzab. But it was a battle of faith. They had to believe in Allah. At that point, believers started suspecting, هنالك ابتلي المؤمنون وزلزلوا زلزالا شديدا. They started suspecting Allah's faith. Now Allah brings only 5 verses about the battle of Ahzab and 20 verses about the life of Rasulullah. There are many stories that we can tell, if it's not the time that we have, about Ahzab al-Nuzul of the verses in Surah Al-Ahzab. How Rasulullah was just so tolerant with his wives. To tell you that the true amana, and this is why Surah Al-Ahzab is concluded with the one and only place where al-amana is mentioned. Inna aradna al-amana. The amana is not out there in the battlefield. The amana lies inside your house. The amana is how you treat your spouse. Is how you raise your children. The amana is when all what you care about is the medical school and engineering and how your kid will be going to hockey and basketball games. And he doesn't even know how to recite Surah Al-Fatiha properly. That's how you lose the amana. That's how you are betraying the amana. وَكَفَى بِالْمَرْءِ إِثْمًا أَنْ يُضَيِّعَ مَنْ وَكُلُّكُمْ رَاعٍ وَكُلُّكُمْ مَسْئُولٌ عَنْ رَعِيَّتِهِ. Brothers and sisters, delete your messages and your pictures. That's not the message. But the message is preserve and protect your amana. Because this is the main theme of Surah Al-Ahzab that Allah will hold you accountable of. Last but not least, inshallah tonight, we'll start Qiyam al-Layl. And tonight is the 21st night of Ramadan, which might be Laylatul Qadr. As Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, تحروا ليلة القدر في العشر الأواخر وتحروها في الأحاديات أو قال في فضائل الليالي. Suspect and track the night of the Qadr at the old nights of Ramadan, at the last 10 nights, as the famous narration that Rasulullah was told about this night specifically, but he forgot which night it would be held in. Last but not least, a very precious hadith, as I see the brothers leaving after 4 rak'at, and I see them leaving after 8 rak'at. Rasulullah says, مَنْ قَامَ مَعَ الْإِمَامِ حَتَّى يَنْصَرِفْ. Keep that for the rest of Ramadan. Whoever stands with the Imam until he leaves, كُتِبَ لَهُ قِيَامُ لَيْلَةٍ كَامِلَةٍ. So those 4 guys who stand until after the 8 they leave, I wish I had a rope to grab them. Come here, where are you going? You are missing a lot, brother. Whoever stands with the Imam until the Imam leaves, it will be written to him as if he was standing for the whole night. The whole night. That's from Salatul Maghrib to Salatul Fajr. You're talking about 10 hours of Qiyam al-Layl. You missed it because you decided not to finish it. Because you were too busy and missed the last 4 rak'ahs. And alhamdulillah, we have here for you 4 Imams. Taha, Ibrahim, Badr, and the Muslim of Allah. Pick your Imam and leave with him. We have the express and private Imam who leaves after 11, that's myself. And then you have another 3 Imams after the 20 rak'ahs. Make sure that you leave with them to get the full Qiyam of the night. Barakallahu.